Eugene, I noticed this tonight on Twitter. This is from the author of Hiding in Plain Sight, The Invention of Donald Trump and the Erosion of America. Garland won't release the memo on Trump and obstruction. Yellen won't release Trump's tax returns. Wray won't investigate the elites behind the attempted coup. Biden won't restructure the Postal Service Board to get rid of DeJoy. The Democrats won't pass voting rights. You catching on yet? So, Eugene, the question to you is, and we're hearing more and more of this, are the Democrats doing enough with what they have right now, given the urgency and the exigency?
Well, I would say just plain no. I don't think they are, and here's why. I am not quite as optimistic as Tim is about the Republican Party. I mean, seeds grow, don't grow in barren ground, right? They grow in fertile ground. And so the seeds of crazy that Donald Trump has been sowing on Republican ground found fertile soil. There was a predisposition there, I fear, and I believe, for the kind of crazy that Trump brought. And so, yes, it's the cult of Trump now, but I'm not convinced that if Donald Trump, disappeared from the scene tomorrow, if he fled to exile in Belarus or something, I'm not convinced that the leadership that came after him would be any less crazy or any less anti-democratic or any more committed to the principles and ideas that the Republican Party once stood for. So with that as a backdrop, I think the Democrats have an obligation to just carry on the responsibility of governing this country and doing as much as they can to reestablish the norms that the Republicans no longer care about.
Tim, real quick, before we go to a break, take on the first part of Eugene's point there. If Trump goes to Rikers Island, the next person up is going to try to be his mini-me, whether it's DeSantis or somebody else, correct?
Yeah, look, you got to dig pretty deep into the Earth's crust to be more pessimistic about the Republican Party than me. So I give congratulations to Gene. I think that is right, I guess. I think that there's some unique things about Donald Trump. He is uniquely sociopathic. I think he is unique in his lack of shame. Right? I think that if you had a Ron DeSantis, right, that on the front end of the election, he might try to undermine the democracy in the same way that Trump has. He might try to pass the same laws. But would he be so shameless to go on for a year, 2 years after, telling people that, oh, it's fake, it's like Venezuela, the voting machines? Trump has a sociopathy about him that's unique, but I generally agree with Eugene's point.